With the first pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Phoenix Suns select DeAndre Ayton from Nassau, Bahamas, and the University of Arizona.
Miller that he knew he was going to go '1. He sold the Suns, and now he's the first overall pick in the draft.
And rightfully so, Reese. He is the prototypical big man in today's NBA. 7'1". He's got a 7'5" wingspan. And by the way, in Vegas, the over-under for my saying wingspan is 4.5. Take the over and tip it back, America. But he's a fluid athlete with great footwork. He's a freak athlete in addition to being a fluid one, but a physical specimen that is broad-shouldered. He is big and strong, and it seems like it takes big guys years to put on that kind of frame, and he's got it coming into the NBA. But he is a complete offensive player. He can rebound. He's very good in the post. He's got excellent footwork with his back to the basket. You can see him spinning to the rim there. And he can face up, and he's got a very nice jump shot, and I think he can stretch that out even further. Any rebound he wants, he can get, and he can tip it and keep it alive and tip it to himself. He's got a second and third jump. He's also a good shooter from the free throw line, 75%, an excellent shooting stroke, and he can pass out of the post. A really, really good player.
And here's the guy who he reminds me of, Joel Embiid. He can take you out to the mid-post area. He can go back to the basket. He's very agile, and as Jay said, the complete offensive game. But not only that, he affects the other side of the basketball court. He's a rim protector and can guard and pick and rolls. I see a lot of promise in this young man.
With the second pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Sacramento Kings select Marvin Bagley III from Duke University.
Marvin Bagley III, who averaged 21 and 11 for Duke. I'll get our research guys on this. When's the last time that we had former high school teammates go 1-2 in the NBA Draft? Ayton and Bagley played together for a year in Phoenix, and Bagley didn't shy away from working out with Sacramento, and now he hopes to be a cornerstone of that franchise as he makes his way up to be greeted by Adam Silver as we take a look at one of the Mountain Dew Kickstart Rising Stars, Marvin Bagley III.
The first thing that sticks out about Marvin Bagley III is how hard he plays. He never takes a play off. He has elite size and athleticism, and this guy can really run. He is really productive, especially on the offensive end. The best offensive big guy in this draft, and most of his play is instinctive. He is explosive off the floor, and talk about a second and third jump. His second and third jump is the best I have seen since I've been doing this. And talk about running the floor. He is a transition big guy that can really change ends. A productive rebounder, averages almost 12 rebounds per game, 4 of them on the offensive end. A left-hand dominant player, really the only concern you have about Marvin Bagley III. He's not a great defensive player, at least not yet. Will he block shots? Will he get steals? I think he can. He hasn't yet.
Here's a guy he reminds me of, Chris Bosh. Left-handed player, Chris Bosh had every move in the book. Very, very good 15, 17 foot, and even increased to three-point land, being able to shoot the basketball. But his motor, and I love how hard he plays, and that's why he's going to have a phenomenal rookie season.
With the third pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Luka Doncic from Ljubljana, Slovenia, and Real Madrid.
Man, it has been quite a couple of days for Luka Doncic. We saw him hugging his mother there. As Trae Young now sits and waits. We expect from what Woj just told us that Luka will be on his way to Dallas in the heir apparent as the franchise cornerstone after Dirk Nowitzki. As Woj pointed out, his contingent on Trae Young still being there and ultimately winding up with the Hawks. But this player is a guy internationally who is as proven and as scouted as any international player we've had. NBA draft expert and scout extraordinaire Mike Schmitz is with us. You believed Luka should have been the #1 overall pick, Mike.
To me, Luka Doncic is the best basketball player in this draft, the childhood prodigy who's lived up to the hype has a perfect game suited for the modern NBA. 6'8", 230 pounds. His game really pops in transition. Now, he's not a Ben Simmons caliber athlete, but there's that same type of excitement when he attacks the defensive rebound and pushes in the open floor. In the half court, he's a tactician in pick and roll. He's outstanding using both sides of the floor, extremely creative with his deliveries. To me, he's the best passer in this draft. We haven't seen a guard who can pass the ball out of ball screens like him in quite some time. Then he's a fearless shot maker. I was at this game in Belgrade, game on the line, late clock, game-winning pull-up three. He's fearless. He creates space with step backs going left, going right. He's a big-time shot maker, has no fear. And we haven't seen a prospect like Luka Doncic at 19 years old, EuroLeague MVP, ACB MVP. To me, this is an absolute steal for the Dallas Mavericks. They're getting a guy.
Fourth pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Memphis Grizzlies select Jaren Jackson Jr. from Michigan State University.
The Big Ten freshman and defensive player of the year in his lone season with Tom Izzo and the Spartans. His dad was a longtime NBA player, won a championship with the Spurs. His mom is director of player ops at WNBA. As you see Miles Bridges, his teammate at Michigan State. We'll hear his name called a little bit later on tonight. But Jaren Jackson, big guy, shooting touch, do a lot of things, a modern big in the NBA.
And he's only going to get better, Reese. You referenced it. He's the youngest big guy in this draft. He's got long arms. He's got huge hands. He may be the best overall defender in this draft when you take into account shot blocking, rim protecting, and his ability to get out and guard pick and rolls. He can guard 1 through 5 for at least a couple of dribbles, and he's only going to get better. He can knock down shots to three-point range. He's got this standstill set shot. But I think you're looking at a player, I agree with Woj. He's got a chance to be as good as anybody in this draft. He's a very good shooter. He made 38 threes this year from deep. He shot over 40% from three. It's a little set shot, but when he gets his feet set, he knocks it down with regularity. And he made just about 80% of his free throws. And he is an excellent shot blocker with terrific mobility. Per 40 minutes, he blocked 5.5 shots per game. Now, that also went with 6 fouls per 40 minutes, so he's got to clean that up a little bit. But he's a guy that's got upside in the post. He plays with his back to the basket. That is not yet the best part of his game, but he's going to get better and better there as well. He can shoot. He can knock down free throws. He's going to be a really good player.
And here's a guy who he reminds me of a little bit, Joakim Noah. I think he's much better offensively. Obviously, he shoots the jumper better than Joakim does. But the way that he competes on the defensive end, he's competitive on both ends, runs the floor extremely well, high-level finisher around the rim. Reminds me a lot of Joakim.
Jaren Jackson Jr. on his way to Memphis.
With the 5th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Dallas Mavericks select Trae Young from the University of Oklahoma.
In the days leading up to the draft, the guy who was a sensation in college basketball last year, some said would be slipping. Concerns about his size, concerns about his defense. He said it was up to him to change that narrative about whether he defended anyone. Let me tell you, this dude put up offense on everybody with 27 points and nearly 9 assists to lead the nation in both categories. Woj, you got some more details on this proposed deal with the Mavericks and the Hawks?
Yeah, Reese, the Hawks general manager, Travis Schlenk, has coveted Trae Young throughout the entire season. Schlenk came from the Golden State Warriors, worked in their front office. He was there when they drafted Steph Curry, and Curry became a 2-time MVP. Now, he's not sure that he's got Steph Curry here, but he absolutely got a player he believes will be a star for the Hawks. And I think right now for them, this was the best case scenario in the draft, because not only does he get a player he wanted greatly in Young, he gets a first-round pick from Dallas next year. And this is a draft where Atlanta's got 3 first-round picks.
Now here's the proposed trade. The Hawks expected to get Trae Young in that first rounder next year, though it will be protected. The Mavericks get the guy they believe will be their future in Luka Doncic. Now let's talk about Trae Young, who led the nation in scoring and assists.
Well, Trae Young is a prolific scorer. You talk about shooting range. I mean, he can really shoot it. An elite scorer with logo range. When he comes across half court, you leave him open, he will shoot it from 30-plus feet and make it. Very, very good with the ball. Very good in pick and roll situations. Genius level in reading pick and rolls. He's an excellent handler and creator. He's very crafty. He can split defenders. He can snake pick and rolls. 10 assists per 40 minutes, and it's not like he played with an unbelievable cast of characters that could really make shots, but his shooting range really sets him apart. I mean, you can see how good he is with the ball, but if you have a hand down, he's going to put that thing up from 30 feet. And when he takes good shots, he is very, very efficient. He just lacks size, and he's not a good defender.
Yes, I mean, we all have to say it. I mean, he has a lot of Steph Curry in his game. Very crafty, keeps you guessing, changes speeds with his offensive tempo, can make every shot, floaters, three-point shots. And one thing he does very well that nobody talks about, he passes with the left hand off of the dribble better than anybody I've seen in college.